Breaking. Young Joc and Lil Scrappy, the so-called brothers of love and hip-hop, just got slammed with the ultimate reality check. And by reality check, we mean banned. Yes, you heard that right. Banned, not suspended. Not put on a cute little timeout. Banned, as in, erased, deleted, cancelled like last season's storyline. And the reason? Oh, just a leaked secret fight, so brutal, so unfiltered, so downright untelevisable, that even VH1 said, nope, we want no part of this mess. Now tell me this, what could possibly be so wild that an entire network, built on throwing drinks and dragging wigs, draws the line? What went down between Joc and Scrappy that producers are scrubbing footage and insiders are lawyering up? Why did fans go from Team Brotherhood to Block Tand reported in under 24 hours? And more importantly, who was filming behind the scenes when fists flew and secrets spilled like expired tequila on a reunion stage? You think you've seen love and hip-hop drama? Baby, this ain't even on the script. This is behind-the-curtain chaos with career-ending consequences, and we've got the leaked details they don't want you to hear. Buckle up, because this isn't just tea. This is a scandal shot straight from the burner. You ever thought you'd see the day when young Joc and Lil Scrappy, the so-called ride-or-die duo of reality TV, would go from dap-ups and shared storylines to being banned, yes banned, from the very show that built their brand? Well, that day has arrived, and it's nastier than anyone could have imagined. We're not talking about a suspension or a slap on the wrist. We're talking full-on blacklist, full-on exile from love and hip-hop, and baby. It all stems from a fight so explosive, so savage, that not even the wildest producers could have scripted it. This wasn't your regular reunion show drama. This was real fists, real betrayal, and real consequences, and the best part, someone had the nerve to film the whole thing. That's right, a full-blown physical brawl leaked from behind the scenes. And now both Joc and Scrappy are out like yesterday's storyline. According to someone who claims they were just 10 feet away when it all went down, it started with Joc storming into the dressing room, eyes locked and jaw clenched. He wasn't smiling, he wasn't joking, he was dead silent. The kind of silence that makes the room colder. He looked Scrappy dead in the face and said, "So this how you move now?" And Scrappy, instead of denying it, just shrugged. That's when everything snapped. Joc lunged first, caught Scrappy with a push that sent him into a stack of lighting equipment, and from there, chaos. People were yelling, security was scrambling, and someone, we still don't know who, had their phone out, recording every punch, every scream, every brutal insult. But let's rewind real quick because this beef didn't start overnight. The truth is, things had been simmering between them for months. Scrappy had been making silent moves behind Joc's back, whispering to producers from another network about a solo project, one that cut Joc completely out. And this wasn't just some petty side hustle, it was a major bag, a deal that would have set Scrappy up with his own series and a whole new image. And while Scrappy was out here grinning in Joc's face, Joc was busy pitching a business venture they were supposed to do together. The betrayal hit deep. Sources close to production say Joc had already invested time, money, and trust into something Scrappy had no intention of finishing. And when the truth came out, Joc didn't go to the producers, he didn't call a meeting, he walked straight up to Scrappy and lit the match. What followed wasn't just a fight, it was a televised implosion of a decade-long friendship. The footage that leaked, which has now been scrubbed from nearly every corner of the internet, showed everything. Scrappy yelling "you always been jealous," Joc screaming "you fake," and fists flying before anyone could stop it. Blood, broken furniture, and one camera operator nearly getting knocked out, trying to dodge the madness. The crew was frozen. Some say they thought it was a prank, others say they were too scared to move. But the damage was done. The video was out. The network was in crisis mode. And within 24 hours, both Joc and Scrappy were told to pack it up and get out. No statements, no apologies, no editing room magic. Just gone. And while the fans were still catching their breath, insiders were already dropping more tea. Turns out, this wasn't even the first shady moment between them. Rumors from as far back as last season suggests that Scrappy had been keeping tabs on Joc's money moves. LHHATL reporting back to certain folks about Joc's private investments, show ideas, and endorsement deals. Some believe Scrappy was trying to sabotage Joc long before this fight ever happened. But it gets worse. One anonymous source, who claims to be a former assistant to a senior producer, says this whole thing might have been triggered by something even deeper than business. Word is, Scrappy was furious after finding out Joc had been getting a little too friendly with someone from Scrappy's inner circle. Not a friend, not a fan, family. Allegedly, Joc had been seen at an out-of-town event, getting close with a woman Scrappy considers blood. That was the final straw. So when Joc found out Scrappy was cutting him out of a deal, and Scrappy found out Joc was stepping over personal lines, the explosion was inevitable. No one expected it to turn violent, but everyone felt the tension building. And still, no one stopped it. Even more disturbing, sources now claim there were people in that room who didn't just let the fight happen, they encouraged it, laughed, recorded, even placed bets on how long it would go. That footage didn't just show two grown men losing control. It showed a circus of enablers, standing around watching two former brothers tear each other apart. And now, the consequences are hitting everyone? Multiple staff members have reportedly been fired. The show's producers are facing legal pressure from the network. And talent agents are pulling their other clients out of pending contracts. Love and Hip Hop, a franchise that has thrived on drama for years, is suddenly scrambling to clean up the biggest mess it's ever faced. Because this time, the drama was too real, too raw. And once the footage went public, the brand wasn't just damaged, it was bleeding. But just when it seemed like it couldn't get any worse, something else leaked. A second clip. Shorter, shakier, but even more damning. This one didn't show the fight, it showed what happened right after. Joc and Scrappy being separated, screaming at each other from across the room, but not about the fight itself, about what they knew. "You think I don't know what you did?" Joc yelled. Scrappy fired back. "I got receipts too." Suddenly, this wasn't just a physical brawl. This was blackmail, secrets, dirt, whatever they've been hiding from each other. It's enough to shake foundations. And now, the question isn't just how they got here, it's how much worse it's about to get. Because that second clip, it ended with someone whispering, "Don't worry, the next one's going to ruin everything, ruin everything." And just like that, the whispers turned into thunder. That cryptic "next one's gonna ruin everything" wasn't an empty threat, it was a loaded warning. And boy, it came with receipts. Within hours, an anonymous burner account dropped. The second leak, and this time it wasn't just Joc and Scrappy at each other's throats. Nope. This one zoomed out and exposed the entire room, a behind-the-scenes mess of enablers, hanger-ons, fake friends, and big-name cast members hyping up the madness like they were ringside at a celebrity death match. You could hear people yelling, "Get his face, don't hold back," and worse. Someone was clearly throwing money in the background. Not metaphorically. Real money. Crumpled bills being tossed like it was a dogfight, not to grown men destroying their careers in real time. And that's where this thing took a dark, irreversible turn. Because this wasn't drama anymore, this was alleged criminal activity, caught in pixelated, shaky, damning video. What had started as a reality TV implosion just became a possible underground gambling scandal. And according to sources close to production, execs were on calls with lawyers before the second clip had even finished going viral. One assistant producer reportedly locked themselves in their office and refused to answer texts. Another cast member's manager pulled their client from filming indefinitely. It was panic mode, and with good reason. Because once the feds get a sniff of illegal gambling, all bets literally are off. Word is, federal investigators started making calls not even 48 hours after the second leak. Not TMZ, not gossip blogs. The actual feds. Allegedly asking about where the fight was filmed, who was present, who placed the bets, and whether this was an isolated incident or part of something larger. That's when people really started flipping. Anonymous sources, late-night emails, leaked contracts. Someone even forwarded a screenshot of an internal memo warning staff not to talk to press or risk immediate termination. But let's be real, at this point, the damage was already done. Fans were in a frenzy. Twitter threads were unraveling every second of both videos frame by frame. Some viewers claimed they identified well-known cast members laughing in the background, holding their phones sideways and smirking. Others went digging into Joc and Scrappy's financials, suddenly questioning how either of them could afford new chains and club nights, while claiming to be broke on screen. Allegations began flying that they were pocketing appearance fees from sponsors that never made it to accounting. And one particular claim that Joc had accepted a cash envelope from a known nightlife figure connected to underground betting hit the internet like a nuclear bomb. Whether true or not, the narrative was out, and now the authorities had a reason to keep sniffing around. Meanwhile, Joc and Scrappy were nowhere to be found. Both of them went radio silent. No posts, no statements, not even a shady IG story, from a burner account. Dead silence, which only fueled more speculation. Were they lawyering up? Were they being advised to stay quiet because of pending charges? Or, and this one had fans fully shook, were they planning to turn on each other in court to save themselves? Because let's face it, loyalty doesn't last long when prison time's on the table. A former Love and Hip Hop cast member even commented anonymously on a podcast, saying, "Don't be surprised if one of them flips." Joc's always been slick with his words, but Scrappy, that man don't hold water when the pressure hits. And it wasn't just ex-castmates throwing shade. Former managers, stylists, and even a production intern came crawling out the woodwork, each with their own story about how shady things had been behind the scenes for years. One stylist claimed they were asked to launder petty cash through wardrobe budgets. Another said they were offered extra under-the-table money to keep quiet about an altercation months before the leaked fight. And the cherry on top, a third leaked video. Oh yes, it happened, just when the internet was starting to catch its breath. Another anonymous account dropped a shorter but clearer clip, and this one changed everything. It showed the aftermath. Joc in the hallway, pacing, face red and shirt ripped. Scrappy, in a separate room, throwing things, screaming at someone, off camera. But what made it unforgettable? Joc clearly saying the words, "He knew I was in deep. He did that on purpose to ruin me." That one sentence cracked the whole scandal wide open, because it confirmed what fans were already whispering: this wasn't just a betrayal. This was calculated. Scrappy allegedly made a play, knowing Joc was already in hot water, possibly with the feds, possibly with the network, and dropped the match, knowing it would all burn. And if that's true, then Scrappy might have orchestrated the entire downfall like a reality show villain with nothing left to lose. One producer reportedly told a friend in confidence, "I think Scrappy tanked the show on purpose. He knew his storyline was drying up. This was his way out, but not before making sure Joc went down first." And fans, they ate it up. Sides were drawn faster than a reunion seating chart. Team Joc versus Team Scrappy lit up every comment section from YouTube to TikTok. Some fans dragged Scrappy for being calculated and petty, calling him a snake in a velvet durag. Others accused Joc of playing innocent while allegedly hiding years of financial manipulation and shady club deals. A popular blogger even dropped a fake timeline, connecting Joc's appearances at certain clubs to illegal betting nights. They even circled dates and added sound effects, like it was some kind of Netflix true crime doc. And honestly, it looked convincing enough to scare sponsors. Reports started surfacing that multiple brands had pulled their deals with both men. Club bookings were mysteriously canceled. Radio stations suddenly stopped spinning their old tracks. Even fashion brands that used to flood their DMIs with free clothes went completely silent. But behind the scenes, it was even worse. Lawyers, producers, and a very panicked network executive were allegedly scrambling to find a way to contain the damage before this scandal pulled the entire Love and Hip Hop franchise into a legal quagmire. Rumor has it, one executive even floated the idea of canceling an entire season just to buy time for internal investigations. That's right, one fight, one leak, and now there's talk of pulling the plug on months of production, because it's not just about Joc and Scrappy anymore. This scandal has spread like wildfire, implicating other cast members, staff, even sponsors who allegedly knew about the betting and did nothing. And if you think that's the end of it, think again, because one anonymous email sent to a gossip blog just hours before the third video drop teased something else. A final clip, the one that would expose everything and everyone. And based on the reactions behind closed doors, whatever's on that footage is enough to send people running. Because while Joc and Scrappy were scrambling to salvage what's left of their brands, insiders were scrambling for cover, deleting emails, wiping phones, changing numbers. The sharks were circling, and the smell of blood was everywhere. And just when you thought it couldn't spiral any further, the fourth bomb dropped, and this time, it wasn't video, it was documents, real names, real wire transfers, real dirt. An anonymous cloud dump, labeled for legal purposes only, suddenly appeared in inboxes across multiple media outlets, showing alleged payouts from Joc's LLC to a shell company connected to a known promoter blacklisted by 3 other networks. Why is this important? Because that promoter has ties to underground fight clubs, illegal betting circuits, and a few folks who are currently under federal indictment. Yeah, not Love and Hip Hop drama, we're now in full-on RICO territory. multiple blogs scrambled to verify the receipts. And though no one can confirm their authenticity, the damage was already done. Screenshots went viral, conspiracy threads exploded, and suddenly people weren't asking whether Joc and Scrappy were fighting over a deal, they were wondering if the fight itself was staged to cover up something way darker. One theory gaining traction claims that both Joc and Scrappy were being extorted, forced into that fight by outside parties to create a viral distraction while some major money got moved behind the scenes. And honestly, with all the shady behavior swirling around, it's not even that hard to believe. Word is, a high-profile manager quit the same day the second video leaked. A Love and Hip Hop camera operator mysteriously disappeared from social media, and 2 production assistants have gone completely off the grid. Some people think they're scared, others think they were part of it. But the one thing nobody's saying out loud: how deep this thing really goes. Sources close to the network claim that internal investigators are now reviewing over 3 years of footage, contracts, and side deals looking for patterns of behavior. And not just with Joc and Scrappy. Nope, apparently they're widening the net. Multiple cast members from past seasons are now under review for similar altercations that might have involved betting, off-the-record payments, and coordinated chaos. And that's the moment you realize this fight wasn't a one-off. It might have been the tip of an entire empire built on exploitation, scandal, and silence. But while the suits dig through contracts and NDAs, the public is eating up every morsel. Fans have turned into investigators, dissecting old episodes, looking for clues, timestamps, glances that now feel suspicious in hindsight. That reunion episode from 2 seasons ago where Joc joked about always having a side hustle. Yeah, people are replaying that like it's a criminal confession. Even Scrappy's old lyrics are getting dissected. One line about taking bets, like it's Vegas, no cameras allowed. Suddenly that's not just a bar, it's possible evidence. And while the internet does what it does best, Joc and Scrappy are still nowhere to be found. Joc's last known appearance was at a gas station where he was mobbed by fans yelling, "Ain't you the dude who fumbled a whole franchise?" And Scrappy. Someone claims he's laying low at a cousin's place in Memphis, avoiding all calls, and ignoring lawyers. One of his old friends allegedly tried to reach out and got a text back that said, "Too late, they already made me the villain." And that's the wildest part. Both of them feel like victims of each other, of the industry, of the fame that turned their friendship into currency. But here's the thing about reality TV. It eats its own. The same cameras that build you up are the ones that capture your fall, and this fall has turned into a full-blown avalanche. Insiders are now whispering that sponsors are done for good. Club promoters who once begged for Joc's appearance are backing out of contracts. Scrappy's name is reportedly being removed from 2 upcoming tour lineups. Even Love and Hip Hop itself is bleeding. Ratings have taken a hit. Cast members are threatening to walk. And some producers are allegedly being investigated for knowing more than they admitted during those panic meetings. And while all this is happening, the fans are split. Half of them are mourning the end of what they once thought was brotherhood. The other half, laughing memes are flying. TikToks reenacting the fight are trending. Twitter threads are labeling this the biggest reality TV collapse since that time a housewife flipped a table over fake cancer rumors. Except this time, there's no reunion episode to tie it up in a bow. No closing confessional. No redemption arc. Just scorched earth and 2 men left holding the matches. And the real kicker. There's still one more video. At least, that's what the latest anonymous tip claims. A 5th video. The final nail in the coffin. Allegedly showing the exact moment someone handed over a thick envelope of cash to a third party, someone not affiliated with production. Not a cast member, just an outsider with enough pull to silence an entire crew. The tipster didn't share the footage. Not yet. Just a screenshot, blurry, dimly lit, but damning. If that video ever surfaces, it could bring down producers, executives, and anyone who even glanced at that envelope. And the worst part, no one knows where it's being stored. Some say it's in the hands of a blackmailed editor. Others think a blogger is holding it hostage for the right payday. But one thing's for sure, people are terrified. Contracts are being reviewed. NDAs are being enforced. Cease and desist letters are flying like confetti. Because at this point, it's not just about Joc and Scrappy. It's about a system of chaos that finally cracked. And now, everyone's trying to get out before it swallows them too. As for Joc and Scrappy, their reputations are shredded. Their careers, on life support, and their friendship. That ship didn't just sink, it exploded midair and rained flaming debris across the entire industry. And still, they haven't said a word. Not one apology, not one Instagram live, not one exclusive interview, just silence. Some say they're being advised not to speak. Others think they're planning something, maybe their own tell-all, maybe a sit-down with someone like Tasha K or DJ Vlad. But whatever's coming next, it better be good, because the only thing the fans love more than a scandal is watching the cleanup. And this is one mess that may never get cleaned up. Because when you play the reality game long enough, the lines blur. Friends become enemies. Loyalty becomes leverage. And eventually, the storyline writes you out. And now here we are, watching two of reality TV's loudest voices disappear, in complete silence, and whether you loved them, hated them, or just tuned in for the chaos. One thing's for sure, this chapter is closed, burned, and buried under legal filings and broken trust. But don't get it twisted. This isn't the end of the story. It's just the end of their version. Someone else will come forward. Someone always does. Because secrets like this don't stay buried forever, especially not when there's views, clout, and coin on the line. And if you're still here wondering, what's real and what was for the cameras, let me give it to you straight. The only thing real is the fallout, and baby, it's just getting started. So now that the masks are off, the footage is leaked, and the whole empire is crumbling in real time. The only question left is, whose side are you really on? Was Joc just a pawn who got played by someone he thought was his brother? Or did Scrappy snap under pressure and drag them both into a pit they'll never crawl out of? Or maybe, just maybe, these two knew exactly what they were doing and thought they were untouchable until the receipts came flooding in. Either way, the game is over. The brotherhood is dead. The illusion, destroyed. And trust me, this is just the beginning. Because you better believe someone out there has more videos, more texts, more shady emails, and the second they hit the net, we'll be right here breaking it all down. So if you live for the mess, the madness, and the truth wrapped in scandal, go ahead and smash that subscribe button like it's Joc's career on a Monday morning. Hit that like button if you think Scrappy's about to spill even more than he already has. And don't forget to drop your wildest theories in the comments. Who leaked the first video? Who's hiding the fifth one? And how far do you think the feds are gonna go once they connect all the dots? Because here, we don't just sip the tea, we slam it down, spill it everywhere, and come back with a mop and a camera. Stay locked in, because the next chapter of this disaster is already being written, and you won't want to miss a single word. This was wild, but trust me, it's about to get even wilder.